Welcome to Say More from Boston Globe Opinion. I'm Shirley Leung. This is a special episode of the podcast because we recorded it live at Globe Summit at the House of Blues in Boston. Summit is one of my favorite events of the year. It's a chance for the Globe to bring our journalism to life on a big stage. And we get some great guests too. Well, this year I got to interview a New England icon, Ben Cohen. If you don't recognize his name, you will recognize his work. You may even have a sweet spot for it. Is your spoon ready? Of course, I'm talking about Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I invited Ben on stage to talk about what makes him so special, his activism. Ben, wow, you got a fan base already.
All righty, so far so good.
So this is going to be a real treat for anyone who's enjoyed a pint of Ben & Jerry's, and you just say, I don't need a bowl, just give me a spoon, right? Is that how most people enjoy Ben & Jerry's?
Yeah, pretty much. Single service pint portion.
So Ben, we only just met in person today. We've talked by Zoom, so this is really great that you made the trip from Vermont to be with us here today. So I just want to remind people about your company's very humble origins. Ben & Jerry's started in an old gas station in Burlington, Vermont 4 decades ago. And now it's this global dessert force, known for its cheeky flavors like Chunky Monkey and Cherry Garcia. But this company you started with Jerry Greenfield, I think you guys met in the 7th grade, right?
That's right.
Remind people how you guys met in the 7th grade.
Well, we were the 2 slowest, fattest kids in gym class.
And one of the things that's made Ben & Jerry's so special all these years, I mean, the really secret ingredient has been corporate activism. And you and Jerry took on social causes long before it was popular for companies to do so. And I mean, you took this stuff very seriously. I mean, I think you guys were arrested at least 3 times, maybe 4. Right?
Yeah.
And for protesting various causes, among them keeping big money out of politics, ending U.S. support for Israel's war in Gaza. So what's the relationship between Ben, the businessman, and Ben, the activist?
That's a good question. Jerry and I started the business, and it was based on our values, which are essentially progressive values, what kind of used to be American values of justice, equality, and then as the business got larger, we realized that it couldn't really just be about the values of Jerry and myself, that the company needed to own the values, and we spent quite a while trying to infuse the values into the company, and we had no idea whether we were going to be successful. It was a difficult thing to do, and what's been wonderful for me now that I'm out of the company is that I'll see the company do certain things, and what they did was beautiful. I mean, the example that sticks in my mind is after the murder of George Floyd, Ben & Jerry's came out with this statement that we must dismantle white supremacy. And it was a powerful, powerful statement. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. And it was beautiful to see that the company had held those values inside of it. So you are technically still an employee of Ben & Jerry's. I am a paid employee. My title is co-founder. I don't have any authority and I don't have any responsibility.
So, it's a complex backstory, and this is why you see Ben and Jerry's back in the news. So what happened is that I'm going to give audience the Cliff Notes version. So Ben and Jerry's was sold in 2000 to this consumer products giant Unilever. They make a lot of different products like Dove, right, is among them. A lot of different products.
Lipton, Wishbone, Hellman's, yeah.
And you were actually against the sale, but because of shareholder dynamics, you ended up selling. You and Jerry ended up selling. But what was really unusual, I didn't really believe it when I first started to read this, but they engineered this very unusual sale. Built into the agreement, they set up an independent board. And that would continue to shape the social mission. So long after Ben and Jerry were out of the day-to-day operation of Ben and Jerry's, this company would still to speak out on social issues. And it was great for 2 decades, right?
That's right.
Really great. And then Unilever stopped. They stopped letting the company speak out on social issues. And Ben & Jerry's could not criticize the Trump administration or even publicly celebrate Black History Month this year, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
And then there was a lawsuit, your independent board sued Unilever, and then this year you've launched something called Free Ben & Jerry's, right? This campaign. And you're trying to convince Unilever and this ice cream holding company called Magnum to sell the company to someone who's more socially responsible. Now, what I don't quite get is that when you sold Ben & Jerry's long ago, I mean, you made a lot of money. You are a very rich man, probably more money than you ever thought you would make selling ice cream, right? So why can't you just take that money and from the original sale and just spend it on worthy causes? I mean, why do you need Ben & Jerry's the company to do good work?
I think that business has now become the most powerful force in our societies. It's business that determines who gets elected by political donations. It's business that determines what laws get passed through lobbying. It's business that determines the news that you see through ownership of the media. And all of that power, all of that is done in the narrow self-interest of business, usually without a concern for the impact on the community as a whole. Most people define a business as an entity that produces a product or provides a service. At Ben & Jerry's, Jerry and I started to define it differently. And we said that business is a combination of organized human energy plus money, which equals power. And so you have business that's now the most powerful force in our society. And business, therefore, needs to take responsibility for the quality of life in our society. And that's really the point, that what Ben & Jerry's proved is that it's possible for a business to work to improve the quality of life for people, work to address injustices, and to make money at the same time. That goes counter to, the business theory that had been taught in our colleges and universities.
So Ben, when you and Jerry started Ben & Jerry's long ago, I mean, did you predict that this might happen? Did you know that business would be such a powerful force, or you just guessed right?
We had no idea what we were doing. We had no idea what was going to happen. We had no plans to be anything more than one homemade ice cream parlor in an old gas station.
And so, so why, talk about, weren't you ever worried that you would offend a customer or offend consumers by taking a stand on an issue?
What we say at Ben & Jerry is that we describe Ben and Jerry's business philosophy as being values-led. That's actually a term that Anita Roddick from The Body Shop coined. And it's the idea that the values, the social values, lead what the company does. And our company has a three-part mission statement. It has a social mission, it has a product mission, and it has a financial mission. And all of those three missions are equal and interrelated. And so, based on the values, we take whatever stands are dictated. So, yes, of course, not everybody agrees with the stands that we take. I mean, if everybody agrees with whatever kind of stand you're taking, you don't need to take that stand. So, yeah, that goes with the territory. We understand that not everybody's going to agree with us. Maybe some are going to buy less ice cream or not buy it at all, but others are going to buy more ice cream or become new customers. And what's been demonstrated over the 47 years that we've been in business is that as the company takes more social stands that are controversial, we end up selling more ice cream. I mean, the reality is that a business doesn't need 100% of the population to buy their stuff. I mean, Ben and Jerry's might have 5% of the population buying our stuff. And so it's okay. It works.
So you mentioned earlier you were very proud of this moment back when Unilever was letting Ben and Jerry's really do whatever it wants with social values and stayed true to its values. So after the murder of George Floyd in 2020, we saw a big shift in corporate messaging in corporate America. I mean, there was this huge push to reckon with racial justice and formulate diversity campaigns in the business world. And there were lots of statements and there were a lot of big checks written to kind of further DEI. And so what went through your mind when you saw all these companies suddenly taking social responsibility seriously?
I was overjoyed. I thought this was amazing. Finally, companies started to have values, to care about social issues, and to use their incredible power to overcome the deficiencies in our society as a result of discrimination, ongoing oppression of people that's been going on for hundreds of years. And so it was beautiful to see that, and I applauded it.
But now things are different.
Yeah, now things are different. So now, a guy comes into the White House, says DEI is bad, and, without a peep, all these companies just kind of throw out all those DEI programs that they had put in place, all those commitments to racial justice, all those commitments to diversifying their supply chains, to diversifying their employees. And, and so I was, pretty disappointed. And then, I thought about it for a while and realized that if your company is not values led, if your mission as a business is not to actualize a set of values, if your only mission as a business is to maximize short-term profits, it's a pretty easy decision to make. You're doing something, the guy with all the power in the White House says, don't do it. So you don't do it because you think you'll make more money if you throw out DEI. And, it became clear that it was just a fad. I guess they didn't deeply support it. I think they were responding to public demand.
So do you feel jaded about corporate activism now that you see how companies are showing their true colors?
I think there's more and more small businesses that are starting up that are values-led. There's a company, Lush Cosmetics, that's a pretty sizable company, international company, that's very much an activist company. And, you know, at the beginning, when this movement started, I mean, of course, there's Patagonia, which was in there at the beginning. At the beginning, when this movement started, there was a real question of, was it possible? Could it possibly be done? And now these companies have proved that it can be done. And you can be a business that has deep social values. You can act on those values. You can build the strongest possible relationship with your customers that can be had, a relationship based on shared values. That's deep, a lot deeper than a relationship that's based on, well, we came up with a funny ad, or, you know, we came up with some emotional ad that pulls at your heartstrings. But that stuff is ephemeral. It's not deep. It passes.
So what would you say to corporate leaders who are on the fence about speaking out?
I'd say he who is silent consents. I mean, in situations of injustice, you cannot be neutral. As Desmond Tutu said, if an elephant is standing on the tail of a mouse and you claim to be neutral, the mouse will not much appreciate your neutrality. I mean, you're confronted with situations of injustice. You have three choices. You can ignore it, you can complain about it, or you can do something about it. And businesses now that are just kowtowing and bending their knee to the authoritarian shift in our country are just complicit, and they're not neutral. They are helping the authoritarian direction that we're heading in. You have to stand up and speak out.
So what makes your activism memorable is that you literally use ice cream to promote your causes. You had the world's largest baked Alaska on the front lawn of the US Capitol to fight against oil drilling in Alaska. You released a bunch of flavors in support of marriage equality, such as Hubby Hubby. Do you remember this? And Happily Ever After. And recently on your Instagram, you discussed creating a watermelon sorbet to support Palestinian human rights. So why ice cream activism? I mean, why do you think this product has so much power?
You know, one of the beautiful things about ice cream is that people love it. You know, it has this very, very special place in people's psyches. You know, birthday parties, celebrations, ice cream's always a part of it. Ice cream's the only food that you eat while it's still frozen. It melts in your mouth. I mean, so people have these positive associations with it. And because of that, we can use ice cream to talk about serious issues, but in a way that's not always serious, in a way that's approachable. I don't know, does that answer your question?
It does. But I was saying, when did you realize that? When did you realize that ice cream holds a lot of power beyond, you know, making people happy? I know my kids love ice cream. I mean, if they had their last meal, I know it'd be ice cream.
When did I realize that ice cream is powerful? I guess when we got into the ice cream business and saw how much people loved it, but the combining ice cream with social action and standing up for human rights and justice, that kind of evolved over time. I remember a campaign that we had which was about shifting money out of nuclear weapons and putting it into education, and we used stacks of ice cream scoops to kind of illustrate what was going on, and it's a good way to learn about it.
So when we last talked for my column about your fight with Unilever, you told me that if you were to invent a flavor to describe your current mood, it would be all fudged up. Do you remember this?
I do.
So describe this flavor to me. What exactly is all fudged up?
Well, you want the ice cream flavor, or you want what's actually fudged up?
Well, both. Both.
Well, it would obviously have a bunch of hot fudge, which would be cold once it's in the pint. And it's, when hot fudge gets cold, it's kind of chewy. It's kind of an interesting texture. And of course, it would be really, really thick, really, really thick veins of hot fudge. And there'd be hot fudge on the top, cold hot fudge. But what's fudged up right now about what's going on with Ben & Jerry's is that Unilever Magnum are not abiding by this legally binding document, the acquisition agreement that set up this independent board that has this legal authority over the social mission, and they're overriding it. So there's an opportunity now to get the company owned by social investors that really support the mission, and we need to make our best shot to make that happen.
If I had to describe my mood right now, sitting on stage at the House of Blues with you coming all the way from Vermont, I would say I'm feeling cherry grapeful.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
I'm cherry grateful for your time. Was that good? No. How about thanks a latte? Would that be,
oh yeah.
What about that one? Is that better?
Going on.
No, this is why you're in the ice cream business and I'm not. I'm going to have to stick with journalism instead. Well, Ben, we're truly grateful for you being here for the live recording of Say More at Globe Summit. Ben Cohen is the co-founder of Ben & Jerry's. Thanks for being here.
All right. Great to be here. Thank you.
Say More is a production of the Boston Globe. Today's live episode was produced by Anna Kusmer. Our engineer is Uzair Ahmed. Special thanks to the Globe events team. If you like the show, please follow us and leave us a review. You can email us at saymore@globe.com. I'm Shirley Leung. Thanks for listening.